portfolio to secure it. So I guess Faze Clan, they got no business being around this vicinity. Yui gets trampled instead. Man, this guy's a savage. Alpha 7 absolutely rocking it up over onto the southwestern corner map.
And that is Faze Clan out at number 9. 8 more teams left. Now every team that survives will continue to collect placement points. And what will happen to Okta? Not too sure, but he got taken out by the play zone. Yummy with a nade onto Hitman from A1 eSports. But the rest of A1 awakened by Yummy's nade. I'm sure they'll be looking for revenge, but they'll prioritize the zone instead. They try to save their team. They try to push Hitman out to safety, but Yummy is there to spray them down. And finally, will be eliminated by the other side. Sinister was the one to land the final blow onto Yummy, and that is the end of Boom eSports.
Yeah, that was a very risky call, but hey, at least you cut one loss and salvage another. That Storm still riding right now, not into sunset as of yet. He will still be able to be picked up. Team Secret, they now reconvene and spots out the rest of D+K on the other corner. A very interesting maneuver coming in from GK to get some elevation over onto the rooftops. Now he might be able to spot out Fabian. Gets a glimpse of him running across. Perfect catch coming from GK. And now 3 more members to settle. 3 hooking up those grenades. And GK got to quickly maneuver around in order to keep himself safe.
And Fabian confirmed eliminated. And GK scores 3 eliminations. Team Secret currently dominating with 5. Chips will need to heal up as quickly as possible while his other team is buy time for him. But GK, he's not only managing D+K, but he's also managing A1 in another direction as well.
True enough, and Xerus so far fending off very well. D+K has got no other choice but to wrap the other way around, and they know that this is not going to be an easy battle for them, but they will go in for a big wrap around. Meanwhile, no fear of the rest of Aurora Esports. They will take out another team in purple, and that's Yangon Galacticos, as they're hoping to claim this tiny little shack, but it is preoccupied already. Now the rest of Horror Esports gets to also farm up those numbers out in the open fields, and there goes those members of D+K. And now, quickly as it follows, only 5 more teams remain. No fear so far, working hard, getting even more done, and almost getting taken down. And the members of Team Secret shooting them right back, Sleepy fending them off.
Dude, this lobby is insanely fast, insanely quick, like fights happen non-stop. Now at stage number 5, we're at our last 5 teams here in this round, with Team Secret and Alpha 7 having 3 players, Horror Esports 2, the Vikings, and Younger Radicals 1 solo player left. A dream to score this chicken dinner. And if Younger Radicals can score this one, who knows? They might take their number 1 spot because they weren't too far away from the top.
Not too far, like you said. And if you take a look at the rest of the field, so many of all these teams having members getting damaged already. The only ones with proper squad strength are Team Secret as well as Alpha 7 at this current moment. Horror Esports now trying to go for some recovery play. They are still in the center of the zone. They don't really have to move too much. While the rest of Alpha 7, they're playing this very cautiously. You can see that there's barely much of these covers left available. So Senna, he's going to be able to slowly lock out that member for esports eventually. Jiki now getting shredded out, but thankfully he is swift enough to regroup with the rest of Team Secret.
And Horror Esports, Sleepy and No Fear in the middle of the circle, so they have the best position possible based on the circle, that is. But that might change in about 45 more seconds depending on where the circle will go. But because they're somewhere in the middle, very likely they will still get the circle. So I wouldn't be too worried about them for now. I'll be a little bit worried for maybe the teams on the left side or whichever on the edge of the circle, because there's a chance that they won't get the next phase of the circle. But that also means those teams by the edge might want to take away the shack from the hands of Horror Esports.
Yeah, or perhaps just wait it out where Horror Esports will eventually need to move into the direction of the center. So Alpha 7 is just going to be a biding time, as they've already spotted 2 different units coming from different shacks, and even No Fear is not safe at all behind those crates as much as he's being amplified with whatever weapon that he found. gonna deplete that Bucky at the very same time. Mafioso just doing it very diligently. That grenade's gonna be able to catch out the final member of Yangon Galacticos, who worked to put up a top 5 finish for YG, while Jiki rocks up the hill, going up against 3 members of Alpha 7, and I don't think yet he's gonna be able to walk out there alive, quickly being down by the rest of these bullets coming from Mafioso as he's looking for a whole lot more. Zeris tries to wiggle for space, but I don't think that he gets a good bargain out of this. Couldn't reach Shiki, and he does really have to find Mafioso through the smokes.
It's definitely going to be hard for Team Secret to breach Alpha 7 because they come from the lower ground. And the elevation allows Alpha 7 to have that first preemptive strike. And speaking about strike, Sanap striking in with a nade, taking down another member of Team Secret, now leaving only Drangsin alone. And Drang, what is he going to do here? Time is not on his side. The zone will be closing onto him if he don't move forward.
Drang doing whatever he could to perhaps bring a couple more points back. I guess Team Secret, they could still try to move towards the further east in order to get away from those members of Alpha 7, because that position is not going to be easily reached. We saw 2 of these members of Team Secret faltered just like that. And speaking of which, Drang down to very low HP left. This is being marked by No Fear. Very careful positioning, and Drang at least gets to hold on for a little bit longer, but the blue zone's already closing in. Perhaps Drang can go for a last stand for not himself over on the blue zone, but look at the situation here. Very tough for him to even take back against the team.
Nowhere to go for Drang. The only way is forward, and as he moves forward, he'll be in the process of Hora eSports. And there you go. No Fear will land the final blow, taking the point for Hora eSports. 9 eliminations now for Hora. Now we're at our top 3 teams. Alpha 7, Hora eSports, or final player of Vikings to come up with a surprise. Who's going to make the next move? As Alpha 7, they're already at 10 eliminations. And every single one of their players brought in the frags. So they know how to bring in eliminations for their team. The next target might be just straight on to Hora.
Yeah, and right now, Hora eSports so far doing so much work. We last saw them win out that battle yesterday, and they only had Sleepy as well as No Fear to play the entire battle. And lo and behold, they're possibly fighting for a chicken dinner as well if 87 members gets caught out. I love that split formation. As much as they're pretty much isolated, they're going unpunished for most part of these battles around Gakko region. And now Sleepy might just got himself into a little bit of a trouble as the rest of Alpha 7 tries to take him on first before going against No Fear. So I wonder if No Fear can use that time as leverage to eventually find a mark to help Sleepy in this tough position.
Mafioso saw him. The circle moved forward, and Hora eSports by the edge of the circle right now. Sleepy needs a bit of help, but then again, his other teammate is just too far away. He'll need to fend off Alpha 7 by himself. Alpha 7, they are not in the circle, so the pressure to be in the zone will be onto them as well. And here on screen, we have No Fear. He's still on the outside of the circle. He's actually on the other side, so he has his own problems.
Yeah, it's tough for him to actually move anywhere, and Sleepy's already being pinned down. So, right at this moment, I think Alpha 7's got intel on whereabouts these members of Hora eSports are. So, they are sending Carrillo to go in for the wide wraparound, taking this fight up against No Fear, and that leaves that one member of Vikings smiling, and he's going to be the one to take down Sleepy instead. Oh, it's now a 1 versus 3, and Hora eSports, they are just in a pinch, while the rest of Alpha 7, they are trying to fend him off one after another. Now, quick peeks! Still gets the job done! Carrillo lands a couple attack, and that will be 9 points with a grand score coming in from the duo of Hora eSports.
So it's going to be a 3v1 situation. The final player of Vikings managed to hold on. And guess who it is? It's Superman. From that clutch to now at least number 2, this one solo player for the Vikings is carrying everything on his shoulders now.
Well, I'm not too sure if the rest of Alpha 7's got any kryptonites on their hands or back pocket, but right now will be a good time to actually unload it. But perhaps that kryptonite's just gonna be Carillo right now. Let's see if he's got a full stash, refueling very quickly. Oh, he's got the MG3 upgrade. So this is not going to be easy task. And then look for the isolation, some damage being done over on the corner of Mafioso. Boxed up, and there's nowhere to go. He's only got 5 frag grenades as he's trying to go in with wide wraparound, using the hovercraft as a cover for the moment, and the wide swing comes in, coming from Senna. He's trying to take this fight 1 versus 1. Carrillo cornering him up, and that will be an easy way to close it out. Alpha 7 takes the first chicken dinner of the night.
The Brazilian powerhouse brings in the first chicken dinner for today at match number 7. What a solid performance by them. And at the same time, they managed to score more than 10 elimination points to their name together with this chicken dinner. This team, from the first time we saw them fight against Void Donkey, they took fight after fight after fight to get into the circle and finally scores the chicken dinner even though the circle didn't favor them. The powerhouse of Brazil, Alpha 7, is the team to beat.
I absolutely love their playstyle. They have great game IQ, just like the rest of Horror, how they actually work out the fights. The leverage that they had was a little bit of that high ground. They matched the spot. Some of these players hiding in the shack, and they slowly but surely single out these targets without needing to commit too much. And you saw those 3 members, they were well and alive towards the tail end of the run, making it harder for those isolated members to eventually deal with the entire unit of Alpha 7. So great work, Carillo, Mafioso, as well as Santa so far doing a chunk of the damage. Squash Blue was also involved, and I believe he was taken down somewhere in the mix of the field. So Alpha 7, they're starting off strong. I want to see how far will they go with this.
Oh yeah, I want to see the overall charts as well. There is I believe there's a chance that they might be okay. Last we checked, they were at page number 2, at the top of page number 2. So this will surely boost them into page number 1. Maybe not at number 1 spot yet, but frankly speaking, during the playoffs, that's not the main objective. The main objective is to stay in the top 16 and to bring yourself into the grand finals. But with a solid performance like this, I mean, it's hard to not see Alpha 7 in the grand finals.
True enough, and all they really have to do is to keep up with this tempo of play moving into the upcoming matches, and they will be good to go. But speaking of which, we still have quite a number of days, so all these teams are also hoping to rack up the points of their own, so this isn't going to be easy task for Alpha 7 to upkeep. But hey, if they're looking this good, nobody has any complaints. Alpha 7 with a massive chicken dinner, ending it with a double-digit elimination at the very same time. And I think, like, other than their brilliance, MVK as well as Hora put on a show of their own. Starting off with Hora winning that duel inside of Yasnaya, and then Vikings with Superman clutching. That, we gotta get those replays up for that guy himself, because he has brought it all the way to 2nd place.
And we have to compare the second place team, or Superman, because he carried the entire Vikings towards the end with Alpha 7. When it comes to damage, obviously Alpha 7, because they had more eliminations, they healed a lot more as well because of their multiple fight engagements throughout the map. As for the Vikings, it was Superman all the way. So pretty much he kind of healed himself up. So that's why the number of heals are not as much, and the total eliminations is still pretty healthy. MVP this time has to be Mr. Clutchman in this round, Superman, with 7 eliminations.
Man, this guy is an absolute monster. We saw what he's done up against those members of RRQ, and so many more names taken off the list as well. Sleepy was being hunted out by Alpha 7, and Superman says, nope, that kill belongs to me as well. 1,280 damage of an output and 7 elimination points to book out the round. This guy have absolutely shown up for Vikings, and now puts them pretty much up the list as well. I believe the first we saw, they were in the top 8. So with a top 2 finish, they should be somewhere within the top 5 margin.
And speaking of our top, here are our top performers. Superman with the most eliminations, followed by Sleepy from Hora eSports with 6, Carillo with 5 from Alpha 7, and Team Secret GK with 4. And it's quite obvious that Superman contributed the most to his team, 77.78%. It's something that we saw earlier in game as well, him coming up with the clutch and also living towards the second place finish in this round. So it's quite clear that Superman is the MVP, especially if we put aside taking an MVP from the team that scored the chicken dinner. It's surely going to be Superman.
True enough, and Sleepy so far have definitely got incredible work rate. This is more likely like the Horror Esports everybody knows and love, and they did manage to at least settle for a third place finish in this match itself. So that's 22 points for our winners, Alpha 7, 15 for MVKE. Team Secret has also gotten quite a huge stash of their own with those 8 elimination points, walking away with 12 points. Meanwhile, almost everybody got themselves involved in some form of a fight. The only ones that did not gotten any points in this matchup is Boy Donkey as well as Alter Ego Aries. A little bit of a rough start, I would say. Same goes to Alpha 7. As much as they were fighting really hard, they only got that 1 point out because of that hustle that they had getting away from the island, and they just slowly got withered down.
Yeah, and for the fans of Young Radicals, you still get your star player here somewhere on the charts. We have Smart with the longest eliminations distance of 337. Though not the most important stat, if you ask me. But having your name, having your picture up there, it's always a nice feel. Other than that, 60 total eliminations. So there was one player that got taken out by the zone because Alpha 7 ended the game with 3 players. So 1 point was spared from anyone else, and everyone else was eliminated by each other. Now, when it comes to the overall rankings, D plus Kia don't need 3 points this round, but they're still at number 1.
Well, take a look at the surge coming in from both Alpha 7 as well as MVKE. Currently neck and neck. I mean, MVKE right now is just 1 point above Alpha 7. Alpha 7 moved so many positions up. 5 placements with this chicken dinner. If they can get more, I'm looking at them to be challenging the likes of D plus Kia at the very same time. But Boing Donkey, that 0 pointer did not help them. So I would say the same for the side of D plus Kia. They didn't manage to walk out, extending the form of lead. Well, the biggest winners back in page 2 are Hora Esports as well as Team Secret. Hora Esports, they only started off with a single digit, and look where they are. 15th place, 8 placement jump out of that top 3 finish.
Oh yeah, they're now out of the page number 3, the page that nobody wants to be in. At least you're in page number 2 is still okay. But because they went up, somebody has to go down. And Alter Ego, with a 0 point round, is currently at number 19 on page number 3. RQ did a decent performance with 5 points collected. Now they're knocking on the door to be on page 2 at least.
Yeah, and we're seeing certain teams not participating in this round, but they will be coming up in these upcoming matchups. So we'll have to see the PE, 7-9, KN, as well as Irina. How do they respond? How do they really answer back? Because the rest of the field, they're absolutely amped up to take them on. So that was explosive to kick things off with, especially with those stellar showing coming from both Superman as well as No Fear and Sleepy. We'll have to see what else is there for us. So we'll catch a couple of minutes. When we come back, more chicken dinners to come.
back with the Ruthless Invitational Showdown Season 11. Season 11, can you imagine this, Contra? We're already at 11 seasons and still counting. It's crazy. But we all wouldn't be here without your amazing support in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for supporting the Ruthless Invitational Showdown. Don't forget to subscribe to show your support even more. My name is Sir Cloud together with Contra. And what a round Alpha 7 had.
Yeah, that was an insane round. We have seen so many teams dropping like flies so early on. These teams are looking ultra feisty and, only the toughest prevail. And considering the fact that Alpha 7 has been able to hold strong with those 3 members throughout the run, is absolutely impressive. Where most of all the other teams, they're whittled down to only a single member or maybe at best a duo. And that just makes that run coming from Horror eSports to be very phenomenal, if you ask me. But we're going to change locations heading into our second match as we'll dive into Miramar. Now, look at this circumstance. Do you think that this might actually change the dynamics of the teams that actually will be having certain advantages in this map?
Well, the fact that you still have Group Red, right? So Group Red is like the powerhouse group. It's like Alpha 7 there. You got D plus Kia there. You got teams like Horror eSports who had a good round there as well. So as long as they're still in the game, I mean, other groups can be worried. But Group Yellow, no short of powerhouses themselves, like Xavier, like BTR there, like Nongshim Red Force as well, the recent champion. So it's going to be a very interesting round, so to speak. But as usual, we're going to come back to our prediction desk. And what do you have in mind?
Very quickly, you guys answered D plus Kia last round. I guess like this time around, they will have a little bit more brief, but I would go for Vampire eSports. We haven't seen any from action coming in from them, but I believe that at least they're looking to revitalize themselves, because last we saw back in the first day, they didn't really get much done. So I'm pretty sure that they're itching to catch up.
Okay, since our experts quickly picked Horror, so not going to double that. I'll save Horror for maybe later, maybe. But this round, since it's the introduction of Group C, I'll pick Bigatron by Vitality. Bring it on.
I love that you've got this tag prepared on your table. Did I accidentally take Vampire out? Because I know you got a lot of those Vampire jerseys sitting around the side. Did I accidentally yoinked it?
Not really. It's not near enough for me to reach out, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. I guess like I have to start my own collection. Do we have to fly to Nepal to get a Horror jersey, or maybe somewhere along the lines for DRS as well at the same time? Well, I guess we'll leave that for later. But you guys can tell us who exactly are you rooting for, and of course, make sure once again hit that like as well as subscribe before we kickstart our second match of this evening. So far, Horror's looking absolutely solid. I mean, you see, one game propelled them all the way into the midfield. If they get another good round, I think top 8 is absolutely doable, and we shall see, is this going to be the same for both BTR as well as these members of Vampire eSports? Because BTR, they're doing okay, but still not at the work rate that we're hoping for, because last we saw PMSL, they had their fair share of struggles. I think same could be said about Vampire eSports, where they were very close, but it was eArena that eventually emerged to be the grand victors of it all. So I think that this is where they want to really get themselves back into shape before they head to EWC.
Yeah, eArena yesterday they have been chilling, and that's why they are page number 3. But from whatever that we learned from the previous round, Horror eSports yesterday, they were chilling as well. They were at page number 3, but they put in a good performance and they're starting to climb up now. So who knows, eArena could be one of those teams, trying to feel the ground, trying to feel the lobby on day 1, and day 2 is the time that they will really strike back. So a team that definitely we want to keep an eye on as well. eArena, they are PMSL Southeast Asia champions for a reason. So we got to keep an eye on this team that has put in a solid performance during that time. Now, the thing is that Group C, they're making their debut. But Group A, they played round number 1. So they're pretty warmed up right now. So I would expect a certain level of challenge from teams from Group A.
Yeah, true enough. And when we take a look at some of all these drop spots, I believe traditionally wherever Vampire Esports land in Miramar, most often than not, Picado will always see certain challengers moving into that scenario. So I'm kind of second guessing on my own pick because I don't know if they will win that fight when they do drop into areas like Picado. And if they do, then good. They can actually play for a whole lot more. E-Arena, now that you mention it, they've always had a very strong pattern of play in most part. But I believe a lot of these teams who are going to be playing in the EWC aren't going to fully reveal their cards on how their game plan is going to be like. So maybe that's one of the reasons why you are looking at, teams like Alter Ego having a little bit of slow start. Void Donkey shows you a little bit of cards and then holds back a little bit more. They kind of want to see if they could try many different alternatives in the form of their game plans.
Well, Alpha 7 is going to play at PNWC and they showed their cards in game 1. So I guess it really depends on the teams, right? Because the thing about PUBG Mobile Esports is that you have like is going to be hard and fast for these teams. Let's see how do they readapt as we fly into Miramar.
Here we go, right through the very southern platform coming in from Puerto Paraíso, headed into the corners of what I assume to be either El Pozo or even what was known as Ruins. Or should I just name it Alcantara for now? Well, Ruins is still available. It's just that nobody really drops there these days. But there's definitely interesting options such as Cortona all the way down south, where E plus Kia, they're moving very swiftly into the southern corner of the map. Going to be joined by none other than KN hailing from the Japanese region. And of all teams, I'm definitely very interested onto how exactly will they actually wow us, because one of the last iterations that I recall very well that played super well globally was Movies, and it's definitely been a while since then.
Yeah, I remember Blue Bees when they came into the global stage, they revolutionized the DBS. And I remember that time the DBS was still in the airdrop. So they were one of those teams that, okay, everyone else does not pick the DBS at all. And whenever they had the chance to pick an airdrop, they would pick up the DBS. And they made it famous from there. And because of that, the following season, everybody starts using the DBS after looking at how effective it is that the Blue Bees players did use that time.
Yeah, it's crazy how teams can actually be known by setting a certain meta. And now when we talk about meta, it almost feels like almost every single weapon is really up for grabs for these players to really show what they've got. Now, we do get a glimpse of Krypton coming from Alter Ego. It's not going to be the area that they want to fend up, but they have no other choice. RQ 1-for-1, Alter Ego losing a member through the knife by Lapar. And just like that, settles the scores. RRQ starting off strong.
Yeah, and Alter Ego, not that strong, obviously, but oh, wait a second. Rosemary fights back. At least he managed to secure 1 point. In the previous round, Alter Ego went out with 0 points. So this is their first point today. Talked about the arena. They seem to be in a fight with NS Red Force. And I noticed that one of the players of NS Red Force got docked. But no follow-up from here. So it could be one of those long-range knocks. And maybe we'll be back up real soon.
Could be the case. I believe that was being knocked out by NC2 out of E Arena early on. It's just that when it comes down to, you know, mid to long range, it's going to be hard to really secure it. Now, RQ, they're hoping to recommit. It's only going to be Rosemary that they're going to be dealing with. But Rosemary's got quite the artillery, starting off with AR of his own with Scar L. And also, the last we saw, he does have a grenade in hand. So the moment that RQ arrives at the scene, they should try to at least prepare for this. And they're not leaving things to chance. So RRQ knows that there's at least 2 more members to go, but he does got no idea whether if Rosemary is alone or otherwise. So Alpha, look at the minimap. He's not too far off, but how much support can he provide? Apparently a whole lot as he takes down Lapar.
And Alpha gets taken out. So it's only Rosemary, the final player for Alter Ego, that's still active. So he has to come out with a clutch here against the remaining members of RRQ. Sees one right in front of him. But on the other side, GenForce is coming in as well, so he will be surrounded. There you go. Front and back, nowhere for Rosemary to go, nowhere for him to hide. And Alter Ego gets eliminated.
Yeah, of all places that they drop, I'm just surprised that these 2 Indonesian teams are going up against each other so early on. I guess like they're trying different locations to see whether if it works out or not. And RQ came up on top. And, traditionally when we look into, the PMSL Indonesian teams, they're very efficient when it comes down to playing inside Miramar. RQ, this happens to be their very best map. As for Alter Ego, they always drop over onto the far outskirts over on the south side as well. So I guess this is kind of like that kind of bump in that they didn't really want to. They were trying to contest for some of all these loots. And RQ right now coming up ahead, 4 points. And now we move over into the city of El Pozo, it seems like. I definitely need the confirmation on this one as it's going to be between D Savior as well as Alpha 7. Both sides being split across these compounds. And when you're playing in such a vast city, it's always hard to actually secure knocks and damage at least being done over onto Senna. And DX now has a clear idea on what exactly to do with their execution.
Yeah, and this is one of those rare moments that the Xavier play with pseudo names. So they could be trying out players. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone maybe trying to recruit some of the finest in Vietnam to create this Vietnam super team. Not that they aren't, they're already a Vietnam super team, but yeah. Trying to find continuity with younger blood, maybe. I mean, pseudo names, it could be the exact original roster players. Who knows? As for BTR, they also play with pseudo names. Look at this. I don't recognize a single player. Except for Kent, and I believe that's not him.
Azophobia, it could be him. I think we've seen the name Ken play in some of all these scrims, in some of all these off-season tournaments. So perhaps he's just going to be leading the fray, telling these prodigies what exactly do they expect moving into each round. So we'll have to see. Or you could be right. It's like, oh, coach, can I lend your phone? And I just don't want people to know who I am. It's like, okay, sure, buddy, take it. So, yeah, I guess one day we'll find out if BTR is going to go through that major overhaul. And what do you make of BTR's recent performance back in PMSL? Because I think, like, they're a team that needs pressure to perform.
Well, I guess with their PMSL performance, if that's not enough pressure, I don't know. But maybe we can talk about that in a little bit more as we need to focus on the E-Arena versus NS Red Force. The fight continues on. Mormon, the starman of E-Arena. All the top transfers in PMSL Southeast Asia showing why he's still the top transfer. Tourniquet on the other side goes in for the 1v1. Jump shot attempt by TZ failed. And Tourniquet with the SLK will finish him off.
Wow, quick work being done right there by each member of E-Arena. They still need to go in for the rescue just to pick up for 5-6. He's done some damage. The pickup has gone through, so he just needs to heal up for the moment. While we might have missed some certain glimpse of Joker on his elimination. So E-Arena, they come up on top, denting some of these members of Alpha 7, it seems like. So the Longship Red Force, Now that they're currently spread apart, well, I guess we got the confirmation it's actually not Jim Red Force. It's only down to Binny. Binny that actually finds a catch up against 457 again. He just got revive, and now he's going to bleed out very quickly. That grenade, if it prompts into the perfect angle, we might actually see Dongshin Red Force perhaps turn the tides around.
You know what? Whenever I see the name Beanie, it reminds me of a wife.
Oh, yeah.
That's in Malaysia language for the benefit of everyone. But 1-8 is all it takes by Turney K to finish off the wipe itself. And as Red Force gets eliminated by E-Arena. Circle-wise, wow, interesting circle. Hard shift to the north.
Very hard shift. I mean, there's almost no teams circulating around those facilities of water treatment. Just by the edge of it, so that allows for esports to have a lot of room to play with. That's good notion for them, who has been really climbing up the charts from that previous game, securing a top 3 finish, double digits of elimination points. Vampire esports also wasted no time to secure themselves a hot location, getting not only the vantage point, but also a compound to work around with it. Faze Clan finds a little bit of bump in against Mark, one member down from the side of KN. Well, they're not going to be stopping their tracks or ending at all. They already lost Kiwi in the mix of the process, so they will just want to secure themselves a good spot to play out the end game around the water treatment area. While Vampire Esports are going to do the same, but I believe there's a member of BTR around that facility, so they have to be very mindful wherever they turn.
Since we have BTR on screen, dropping in a fun fact, the last time it was Kent, it was actually Federalis. So if I were to guess who Kent is, it is Federalis himself. So who knows? Who knows? I'm just putting it out there.
It could be very well the case. Well, he's been a staple ever since he transferred from Harame Bros. And now they do get the full glimpse of the entire squad of BTR, damage being done, and Vina has been able to put some damage through. He looks very, very oddly familiar. I just couldn't really bring that name out of my mind just yet. But of course, the fans of the Vampire Esports team could definitely tell us who exactly that is. Now, Mela kind of lost his glasses. I believe he might have actually got some LASIK treatment, as he's looking absolutely sharp on his profile picture. Now, at least we have a hunch of who those members are coming from Vampire Esports. We see Schweppes, we see, I believe, well, that's not exactly Vintoris, is that?
I guess that Vinajaya, yeah, that's Vintoris there. But for BTR, absolutely no idea who's who. No Nampun, Kyorin, Azaphobia. They don't even have their pictures up here, so yeah. I can't guess unless we're a fly on the wall where they're screaming right now.
Well, too bad I didn't pay a visit onto the gaming house as of late. So I could have actually dig for some intel if I knew any better. But take a look at the zone. I mean, D Savior, they're coming in late. But even later than that is Alpha 7. Take a look how far they are. They're still stuck inside of El Pozo. They got a long journey ahead. Maybe this might work out if all the other teams have already traversed all the way into this hard shift. It's going further onto the outskirts of Cruz del Val. And look who's there. D plus Kia, they booked themselves a prime location. Can't really say the same about whoever's over on the west or even the south side. There's going to be a lot of these fights coming by the end of stage 3.
Quite a crazy hard shift again for this circle. The Vikings, guess who came out on the board? Mr. Superman that took out a player of E-Arena, now leading them with 2 active players. And looks like they're in the fight here. Turney K now down on the ground, leaving only 456 alone here. And Superman knows exactly where he is. That 1-8 put his health down to 50%. If Superman can land this one more nade, the splash damage should be enough to finish him off. It did connect, but not enough damage. And here comes Break from the side. There goes. It is at the end of the day, Superman that landed the final blow. E-Arena from a solid start to an elimination.
The Vikings are looking super clean today. I mean, take a look at that. 3 points without much of a scratch, and now Kent is going to be down. We can assume that's Federalis. The Vampire eSports so far looking better and better each step of the way, withering down all these units. One more off of the side of BTR. They do claim the high ground, but what could they make good use of this? Because we last saw these Vampire eSports have been able to track the entirety of their position. It's just that they're not going for a closer just yet. Ansys is about to do that. He's going to be moving over onto the far flank, hoping to find some of all of these angles to clip against the rest of BTR.
Note that Vampire, they're playing without Tony K, their star player. Asaphobia needs time to heal up. Ventora's will be gunned down by Nodambe. Asaphobia down to the ground as well. Siege down by Vampire eSports. Mela here in a 1v1. But his teammates is on the other side. Here comes the other player of BTR on the outside of this wall. 2v1, 3v1. They should have the numbers against them. And BTR eliminated by Vampire eSports.
Great damage being done from the member of BTR, but just not quite enough to really settle with a very well-coordinated ambush coming in from those members of Vampire eSports. They gotta quickly revitalize themselves because that zone is already closing in, and plenty of teams are currently getting clipped. One of them includes Horror eSports right now. Outside the zone, the well now being pepper sprayed from the top of the hill. Tins! Making it hard for him. The well trying to hook up that grenade into perfection. Oh, bullets ready from a bow, and he still managed to connect it. Unfortunately, he will be down. KF salvaging whatever's left out of that scuffle. MVKE now tries to go in for that full revive and to continue on with the battle. They gotta do it real quick. Wunti also joining the fray. Blue squad slowly getting wintered down one after another. They should be able to pick up those points eventually as they have been suppressed for eSports. They're now zoning out the entirety of the EX. How much damage can Nofear do?
Oh, a lot more fights happening elsewhere. Look at the elimination feed going crazy. Baseline and Vampire eSports in the fight, and looks like Vampire just got eliminated. Number 12 with 5 elimination points for them. And D Xavier, heavy casualty on their side as well. One player still down. And they're out in the open. Horror eSports right in front. We have Nofear here. Scoping down. Hoping for them to land into his crosshair. Sleepy gets gunned down. While D Xavier, they're trying to recover. But it doesn't help with the fact that the zone is now on top of them.
Arjun so far looking super sharp so far. At least that buys them a little bit more that the room as well space. Levi's now needing to heal up as in the nick of time. He will be able to clutch it with that first aid kit. Oh, thankful enough that now he gets a glimpse of No Fear as he's sending 2504 up the hillside. Damage being done. No Fear not quite enough to get the knock over on the corner. So it's going to be a 2 versus 1. How much damage can No Fear do right now? As Levi's hoping to at least block some of all these vision control coming in from that member of Horror eSports. And he's still going to propel up ahead. There's no way to go out of this field other than to fight his way out. 2544. Trying to actually fend him up, but he goes down instead. No Fear! What was that?
Okay, even though pressure by the blue, even though on the lower ground, but still able to secure that one elimination point. No Fear, he has 3 verses, but he won't have time to heal up right now. He has to get Levi's, and he will! No Fear still got him, despite he will go out to the blue, but still, he took out the Xavier.
Wow, that was huge. And just like that, it crumbled out the Xavier that was expecting him to be over on the corner, and just like that, that last stand played out to perfection. No Fear at least puts a dent to their run. While Faceland are tagging on to those members of Claw Slayers. Only Bubble left over onto the outer sector while these 2 members are on the lower ground. And look at the other far end. Pank is going to be trying to find a little bit more of a salvage point just to suppress Chopper at the moment, or else the 2 members of Claw Slayers will slowly bleed out to death. So Wasteland holding them hostage. It's like, if you really want to go for the save, you gotta fight this for it.
Claw Annie, are you walking? Are you walking, Annie? Clearly not walking. He's crawling right now because he needs his teammates to heal him up. Bobo Hood IGL goes down, leaving only Papank alone, and Annie, are you walking? You're walking back to the lobby. Unfortunate for them, Faze Clan will not let them go. And Pepe now 1v1 against Canary. While the other members of Faze Clan coming in, they still don't have the zone. The circle shifts away.
Well, I'm not gonna say that there. You've been hit by a smooth Faze Clan.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Just like that, 9 points on the table right now for the Thai squad, as this has been their best run in Miramar so far, and we're not even closing in just yet. 8 more teams remain. E7 trying their best to sustain Wall Chopper, getting ambushed as the rest of Blue Squad arrive from the other side. KF now hoping to secure it, should be able to seal the deal. Stickley also landing a little bit of a hand. The rest of A7 has also gotten themselves a little bit of a crease for them to work with. So this three-way battle commences, but it's going to be a little bit of a hold coming in from all three of them for the moment. Canary closest in the distance, while KF hoping to go in for a huge challenge. He will get a shot out of the DBS, and just like that, he will try to dance it off, but Canary is just way quicker than him.
There goes KF contra our ex-colleague from EVOS.
Oh,
wow. Eliminated. Yep. And in case anyone doesn't know why they have that Power Ranger with respective colors, it represents the X team. Just saying. And KF, he has the Blue Ranger because he was ex-EVOS. And that's how they kind of coordinated the colors.
Oh, I remember that interview very well. And it's a nice touch coming in from the members of Blue Squad. You know, like they have the quirkiest of jerseys as well as merch. And everybody wants to get their hands on that. But right now, they got to do a little better or else it will affect their sales. While KN looking for a challenge up against the rest of Faze Clan. Lots of huge names being popped right up. Tamra soaking a bunch of it at the very same time. So it's really down to finale if you could actually find an opening right at this moment. Red Bull, who's played in multiple regions right now, fending him off just fine. Liking this iteration of Faze Clan so far. They've been looking rather solid, but I want to see a little bit more feistiness coming out of them. But right now, with two members, they're still doing plenty of damage up against KN, getting the first knock. Finale holds through the doorways. Green and Red Bull, and just like that, Canary goes in for that refrag as well. All down to Canary as he will secure 12 points for Faze Clan, and he can cook this. This will be more, but it's Ozzy-san that closes it out for Faze Clan.
I wonder if his name is actually Ozzy, and you know, San is like a Japanese thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ozzy-san, you know, get it?
Could be. I mean, I know that Oji-san is like grandpa. I don't know if Ozi-san means anything.
Maybe grandchild. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Could be. Granddaughter. I don't know. Teaching some Japanese right now, but noble. Beautiful angles, catching out that member out of Alpha 7, and right now getting a good toss of the nade, but that is quickly suppressed by KN from above.
And D plus Care, they have to save Nobu, their MVP player. He will be picked up by Osal, while Ozzy-san and Tamra still need to find their way into the circle. 30 more seconds before the zone starts to close, and the blue will put pressure onto them with D plus Care blocking their entry in. They still have a choice of rotating down south. Ozzy-san's up on the hill, and I believe Tamra is the one on the southern side. Oh no, Tamra is the one behind. So even if they rotate down south, there will be another player waiting for them.
True enough, and Senna cheekily hides right behind that monster truck. So as you can see, a couple of all these members of A7 is actually into the zone already. Or should I say that's actually the E plus Kiev currently with their split going on. And it's definitely going to be tough for Senna to get anywhere. But perhaps he could be the thorn in the flesh up against both D plus Kia as well as KN over onto the hillside, where I understand why exactly they did not try to go for that deep dive, because there are open angles coming in from the south that might just see them getting clipped by other teams at the very same time. As you can hear from quite far, Superman again, this time catches Tamra.
Oh, Superman still with the cape, still putting in a performance for the team. And look at this. This time, the Vikings currently at 6 eliminations, top 6, doing not too bad. And the difference between this map and the map before this is that they still retain 3 players. Who knows they can come up with the chicken dinner this time. But D plus K still with the full squad now trying to block Alpha 7 from coming in. Alpha 7 only has this one player. Noble has it on crosshair. Not able to hit the mark yet, but still not in the zone. Tins shows up to finish off Ozzy side.
Beautiful work with the grenade. But they're also running low on those utilities right now. Plenty of open space. Senna now goes for the Hail Mary, and he's got nowhere else to go. Noble quickly gets him tagged up. There goes Alpha 7. 7-9 has been rather quiet throughout the match, and somehow they're still within the top 4. 4 versus 3 on, well, 4 being BK, and the rest having 3 members as a unit right at this moment. D plus Kia in the mix of it to try to fight for that space in between up against the rest of these members of Vikings, but when exactly does 7-9 wants to join into the fray, we'll have to see. Tins Lee spots one location out of the members of D plus Kia, also currently stuck, nowhere for him to run, while the rest of D plus Kia with this widespread is currently holding down 7-9, which is why we don't really get to see them.
Oh yeah, we haven't get to see 7-9 on screen, and now they're in the top 4. Okay, they could be one of the teams that might score the chicken dinner now. But the competition is going to be tight here. I mean, we're talking about now in the top 4, including 7-9. It's going to be D plus K. The Vikings right here with Superman taking a lot of damage, gunned down by Fabian himself. Fabian from the side, sees 2 targets. Tins might be the next one to fall. Brick behind him, providing extra cover fire, and Fabian has to fall back.
Only so little health left. At least he's got a little bit of a backing coming in. While Break pulls down the fortress, it does take one down with the form of Nobu. And now Tins wants to go in for a quick recovery, but he has to run back in the smoke because Fabian is right through his crosshair. And right now, running in with only 1 HP, not quite enough to suppress the rest of D plus Kia. They move deeper into the top 3, and the streak once again right now could be in the works for D plus Kia.
And look who's playing for 7-9. It's the legendary Man Parang behind that rock. Let's see if we can put in his experience with the rest of 7-9. Trexie takes down a player of RRQ, finished off by Yumeko. Where it is? Oh, it's Mika. Mika is Yumeko. And now with the nade by Mika onto the other side where RRQ is at. His nade will not connect, but that's okay. He still has 3 other frag grenades. He's going to lob the second one onto where Lapar is.
We're also having Yumeko getting a little bit of air time while Manparong having a little bit of a tussle right there. Yumeko goes down to the hands of Ossel. Gen Foss now having a little bit of dip as they're waiting for these two to conclude the battle. Well, it's only down to Manparong out of retirement and straight.
Oh wait, what?
To the head of Fabian. He's still got it after all these years. And right now, Manparong still in trouble. Damage being done from the side of Ossel, and that should just do enough to suppress them. And now RRQ in danger. D plus Kia hoping to seal the deal with a chicken dinner of their own here in Miramar.
One more to go. One more to go for D plus Cat to secure it. They're currently at 8 elimination points with all their players intact. Here is Lapa with his last ditch attempt on D plus Cat, but from the lower ground, it's going to be very difficult for him. As a D plus Cat with a rampage, 10 eliminations will bring home chicken dinner number 2.
Just beautiful. Simply lovely work coming out of D plus Kia, where you saw they were just having great spread of position, and they just worked all together to just deny any form of space coming from the top side of the kill into the mix of all these bloodbath across the field. A lot of these names listed on the feed were of D plus Kia's names, and of course that's all thanks to Ossel as well as Noble putting majority of the damage.
Oh, and look at the amount of eliminations by them. Osa came in with the most eliminations, 4 eliminations for the team. But they came up a little bit late. I predicted them in game number 1, and now game number 2 they scored a chicken dinner, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm warming up myself, just like how D plus Kia is warming up. And second game here, Chicken Dinner, surely they'll retain their number one spot for sure, especially with the amount of eliminations that they got. At least 20 points for D plus K.
That's right, and of course, they will be uncontested at the top with this result. So D plus Kia so far is really rocking a whole lot of all these feistiness when it comes down to how they've been able to play some of all these high ground terrain, and it's just so tough to actually contest. You saw those positioning coming in from Sem9. They were suppressed. They were not allowed to enter the zone for a very long time. Even Genfoss and the rest of RRQ, they had to find a dip to work with, and D plus Kia, they just knew that all the advantage was theirs for the taking. While Faze Clan has really shown up with those massive results. Last we saw, they were being ambushed from multiple teams, but yet again, they still prevailed and scored quite a hefty amount of elimination points to book out. And of course, Superman. Vikings so far looking super hot today, all thanks to the heroics of that individual.
Yep. The frontman himself, Osal. Well, not that frontman, but you guys know what I'm talking. Maybe he is, you know. I mean, does have a little bit of resemblance. Just saying. Being compared again with the man of the hour for the Vikings, Superman. 4 eliminations for Superman by himself. And note that the Vikings did not score the chicken dinner. They did come close, but without scoring the chicken dinner, Superman is still able to bring in 4 eliminations for his team. This guy is showing some level of consistency today.
Yeah, at this rate, if you have Superman working like this, I feel like they don't really need those chicken dinners so long as he's always in his prime form. But the MVP of this matchup is Canary. You take a look at the amount of damage he's done. 5 eliminations secured, and on top of that, 800 damage, and he just does it all. And this name may be foreign to some of all these guys internationally, but he's been the leader of this